Business Focus with Kudzi, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
At POSB, we believe in empowering every individual to reach their full potential. From children to youths, informal workers to professionals, startups to large enterprises, and farmers to retirees, POSB has financial solutions for everyone. Welcome to the Business Focus, proudly brought to you by the People's Own Savings Bank, POSB.
Welcome to Business Focus right here on Capitalk, proudly brought to you by POSB. As always, we discuss a lot of what's happening in the world of business with Kudzi Sharara. Good morning to you, Kudzi. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much. How was your weekend?
How did I spend my weekend?
Yeah.
Just the Club World Champions. A few matches here and there. Yeah. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Ndakapfura on Friday as you guys were discussing a lot of business. Ndaitofamba kune kuma tobacco auction floors. Ndakatoona kuti kune activity kakatowanda. And I just thought it should be my first question to Kudzi. What's the ongoing tobacco selling season like?
Thank you, Tinashe. So, as of the 18th of June, that's Friday, right? Friday was the 18th. Okay, so as of the 18th of June, the numbers that are coming from the auction tobacco selling season is that we have breached the all-time highs. We have breached the 300 million kgs mark. So it's, I think on the 18th, it was at 302 million kgs of tobacco. Same time last year, we were 208, but obviously you can't compare last year because of the drought from the 2023-2024 season. So you compared probably with the previous high, which was, I think it was a 296 or 294 million kgs of tobacco. So we have breached the all-time high at 302 million kgs of tobacco, and this is something that is worth celebrating, Tinashe, and it has earned in terms of sales. Let me put it that way, because earning and just sales are two different things. So I saw even in the statement by TIMB saying that farmers have earned $1 billion. Yes, sales by the farmers have breached the $1 billion mark. So again, which is a milestone to say the tobacco that has been sold, the selling season is still ongoing. We haven't, it hasn't closed yet. Obviously, there will also be the mop-up sales and the like. But just so far, $1 billion worth of tobacco has been sold. And again, I think that's a milestone worth celebrating as a country to reach. To get to those numbers that we have since achieved.
So kureva kuti tine vumwe fodya yakawanda here tichiri kutarisira kubva kuma-farmers isati yatouya kuma-auction floors.
Yeah, I think yes, there's still tobacco. That is, I wouldn't know how much is still out there, but just to say that yes, there's still tobacco. The season is still ongoing, and there's still tobacco that is yet to be sold. I think yesterday when I was driving from Pindura, I actually saw a few trucks that were bringing tobacco to the sales floors. So yeah, there's still tobacco that is yet to be sold.
So Kudzi, is it then safer to say when it comes to tobacco, we have arrived as a country?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Tinashe, which needs some interrogation. For example, let's start with 1 billion. We said so far $1 billion worth of tobacco has been sold. Now the question is, of that 1 billion, how much of it is going to circulate within the Zimbabwean economy, right? Farmer bada anzi revenue kaya not 1 billion, revenue, because we are saying farmers have sold tobacco worth 1 billion, revenue. But of that revenue, irikuzopiwa maoko mavo after all the deductions. Anditi imari iri kutorwa nemafarmers vachitoti ndakuenda kunokwira bhazi kudzokera kumusha, o ndakuenda kunotenga zvandinoda nemari yangu, imbori mari pa 1 billion ipapapa. That's an important question. Why is that question important? Because probably you would see that maybe 75% or even more. I think there's a number that was shared before. Of that 1 billion goes to the merchants who might not have borrowed it locally. Maybe they borrowed it offshore. even if they borrowed it locally, they will just repay the loans and take the profits, maybe offshore again. So how much of that money remains in Zimbabwe as a percentage of revenue versus what the local farmers have earned and what goes to the merchants and contractors. So that's what we need. And we also need to say, okay, so of this tobacco, 302 million tobacco, how much of it is going to be processed here in Zimbabwe? Because the real value or value yakanyanya is not in the tobacco inotengeswa kuma sales floors, but iripa processing up. And this is how much of it is being turned into cigarettes, into cigars, and before and then we export that. So how much is it what will be consumed locally and also in terms of exports after processing? I think that's also important because that's how we generate real value. So for me, success means maximizing local retention of the profits. Tawana 300 million kgs. If we maximized the amount of profits we can get from it, and this because as Batsroti farmer arima and this arima aisa 2,000 yake per hectare or 3,000 yake per hectare, and then profit yake papapo abvisa ma cost ese maybe $500. I think I think it is now going to maximize the profit. So that's number one.
Saka, I wanted to ask is kuti saka fodya yedu yakawanda iri kubuda iri unprocessed.
Yes, maybe semi-processed. I'm not sure to want to process up to what level. But jinja chirungo buda we can say it, maybe it's raw tobacco. Maybe kwa kutozoda mtemo imwe yanetwa ku iruda ku yaka introduce kunana lithium, kunana platinum, kuti haifana ngobuda ari mashizha angotengeswa kuma auction floors aya obva enda akadaro. And you must maybe start to prescribing a certain ratio gradually. Maybe it starts to say, ngapaiskoka value edition 5%, 10% or whatever. But as we grow, until maybe we are saying, I say 300 million, ngaitwe ma cigarettes, tozo export ma cigarettes. But obviously, you need to be aware of the consumer consumption across the world. I wanted to talk about another point here, the profitability to the farmer. So unogona kurima yoyo hectare tinashe anditi urima hectare yako ma inputs yako kucosta 2,500 anditi woenda kuma auction floors you sell your tobacco, it gets you 2,500. Nationally are celebrate farmers have done well anditi at national level tinashaunza makgs akati anditi but tinashakaisa 2,500 after atengesa awana 2,500 or even slightly more anditi but tinasho pamwe ari toshanda nevana vake mumunda imomo asi kucounter labor haistoripo pamakosa ake anditi tiri kuti ticounter here zvokuti mumwe munhu ari kurima nefamily yake but even azoenda ari kudzoka nemari inokwana chimudhudhudhu chete. Because most of them, I've been to some of these areas. Ukavunza kunza ndevapa vakaita zvine musoro anditi vakaita vakarima zvakana ndingakatotenga bike anditi and it's a measure of success in those areas koko kwanditi kuma farms koko. It's a measure of success. But then you think, okay, airima na madam nevana vake 3 mumunda imomo anditi but when you then measure success probably it's that bike. And sezvo ndambotaura kuti munhu aisa 2,500 kurima hectare or after 2,500 is that success. So I think we now need to graduate from a metrics anongoshowa kuti tobacco selling season like the statement at TIMB, no, we've breached the $300 million mark. Yes, it's fantastic at a national level, but let's drill it down to the farmer. Kuti impact to the farmer in terms of profitability, our lives being uplifted and of the farmers, are they getting something that is worth their while? You understand? So I think that's number 2 issue, profitability. And then obviously we might talk about sustainability of the environment. Tinash patiri kurima tobacco ipapa taita 300 million. But what has been the impact on the environment, especially in terms of cutting down of trees,
Pisa fodga,
the chemicals that we are using, what are they doing to climate change? All those issues need to be interrogated so that we graduate from just celebrating like my listed companies at the stock exchange. Vakuns nemtemo my listing rules as Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. They also have to publish another sustainability report where they are now telling us kuti isusu this is the waste yataka whether it's carbon dioxide or whatever that we produced, this is how we reduced it from the previous years, and this energy consumption yedu taimboshandisa diesel, now we've reduced the diesel consumption, tane renewable energy in form of solar, so we've reduced whatever damage we're causing to the environment because of that. All those things, and it must also be considered when it comes to the farmers as well, to say, okay, so how can we produce 300 million kgs of tobacco but ta reduce ma fossil fuels atiri kushandisa to cure the tobacco, toshandisa other means that are climate friendly, and that should also then be factored into the impact of I'm saying let's not celebrate, but ndozvinofana kutanga kuya mupfungwa dzedu. Now we have reached these milestones, and but what is the impact, the ESG, environment, social and governance impact of growing these 300 million kgs, and those are some of the things that we should start to think about. And the fourth thing is we have earned $1 billion, and last year we couldn't earn $1 billion because there was drought, and we never know in the next few years noise nenge yanyanya in terms of consumption of tobacco related products because of health issues, and matrends yari toita achikwira, and vamwe vakutoshandisa ma-e-cigar whatever zvisingashandise tobacco, and zvavakuita. So if that grows, it means there is a threat to this 1 billion that we are celebrating today. What are we doing to make sure that this farmer who is growing tobacco is also diversifying into growing other things? But it only comes kana profit yariko wana iri profit svinu, then that person can maybe invest in a bowl, and that bowl allow them to grow horticulture products, and mari fojga but yaiscoftichi kubo yakurima zvimwe.
I think there's Shakmanship on WhatsApp was saying that Zimbabwe's record is impressive, but now is the time to invest more in value addition and sustainable farming. Many farmers are still cutting trees for curing. That's not sustainable. Stakeholders like TIMB must take responsibility and lead efforts to promote sustainable practices. If we don't do that, 10 years later we are done.
Yes, so that's I think that's he's supporting the point that we were making, to say we need to do it in a sustainable manner. And I was now talking about also diversification, is making sure that kana kutobacco kwazo zvazobenda ukanditi the farmer is not does not go back to being into poverty, and or it does not struggle. Why? Because they were taking these profits from tobacco, investing in other areas of farming, where they are no longer waiting for the tobacco season to grow tobacco and then sell it. But they are saying soon after tobacco, izvozviso muminda mungadai mutori nemamwe macrops, whether potatoes, whether zvinenge zvitori mumunda.
Okay. All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, it looks like Fuji any interest in us. Let's take a break. When we come back, we finish up on a business focus.
Going to China, Dubai, Turkey, South Africa, or anywhere else? Whether urukuno hoda or hustling, traveling for business, a holiday, heading off to university, or even buying your first car from Japan, POSB MasterCard is here to simplify your journey. Explore endless possibilities with POSB MasterCard. Shop, withdraw money, and pay in-store or online, locally or abroad with ease. With the POSB Debit Gold MasterCard, access both your local currency and USD accounts on one card. It's the only debit card you need home and away. No POSB account? No problem. Get the POSB prepaid MasterCard, load it up, and start transacting instantly. It's accepted worldwide. The POSB MasterCard makes payments fast, secure, and stress-free. Also enjoy contactless payments, smart cities discounts, and 24/7 support. POSB MasterCard is your key to convenience. Sign up today. #Convenience made simply possible. Celebrating 120 years of transforming livelihoods and building unforgettable memories together. POSB is a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
Welcome back to the last segment of Business Focus. Just 3 minutes before 8. There is a question here, Kudzi. It says, maybe Kudzi or the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, besides tobacco, please give us an update on other crop commodities, specifically maize, sunflower or soybeans and cotton output this harvest season, and how much has been disbursed to farmers so that we have a holistic view of the entire sector. That's Vincent's contribution.
Yeah, I think those numbers are there. It's just that today we were celebrating the 300 million kgs marked by tobacco. But maybe one that I can talk about where the numbers are already out. I think the cotton sector, I think they are already talking about, it's more than previous year. I think they're talking about 68,000 tons of cotton. But I also hear that they were supposed to start the marketing season, I think this week or any time from now. But I hear that there is now need, iwewe sa contractor wakaisa mari, because the thing is good, there are some people vanozongoya kuzoda kuzongotenga chete, but mitemo according to AMA, mitemo ndeye some like tobacco na ikoko ku cotton unofanira kunge wakaisa mari into the growing of the crop for you to be able to buy, and unofanira kutenga zvinoenderanawo nemari yawakaisawo in terms of supporting farmers. Saka pane ma verifications ada kuita make sure that hapana anotenga fodya anotenga cotton iye asina kuisa mari into the growing of cotton. But that sector, I think we are starting to see a recovery in that sector. David Whitehead is now firing, maybe not firing, but is now up and running, and they are now producing tons of cloth, and also they are partnering with Edgar's into making that's the value chain. Yes, and now from cotton growing, and then clothing, to David Whitehead for the clothing, and then obviously garments being produced by Edgar's. Challenge ndeye kuti cotton is expensive comparing nezvatiri kuona mumaboutique where dress is like $5, $3. Dress rakatonaka rinore kutori munhu anotochena zvekutodaro, but cotton manje is expensive. But if we can then export our garments, maybe we can then do
just
do
a
well
quick one, Kudzi, before we close off. We would have wanted to discuss about the gold reserves. Let's do that tomorrow. Anzi, 300 million kgs. Saka fodya basa raya kuputwa cheteri.
I think there's a lot that can be done with fodya. I remember takatomboita some article way back as an analyst kuLinton Edwards. Takatomboita article bata zvinogadzirwa netobacco. Zvakatowanda, and I was actually surprised because there are so many things that you can do with tobacco.
All right, so many things can be done using the tobacco. Thanks, Kudzi, for Business Focus. Let's discuss more tomorrow.
Thank you, Tim.
At POSB, we are committed to providing the support for everyone to thrive and succeed. Today's Business Focus was proudly brought to you by POSB, celebrating 120 years of transforming livelihoods and building unforgettable memories together. #Convenience made simply possible.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Capital FM.